All right, sorry I had to disconnect there for a couple of minutes. I'm alone doing this. I'm using the OBS software to live stream, and so I always have to still work through some technical difficulties. Hey, Stephen, watching from Idaho. It's good to see you. I don't know if I've ever told you, but I've been to Idaho. I was at a pastor's conference at Treasure Valley Baptist Church. It's near Boise. It's in Meridian, Idaho. It's pastored by Pastor Rick DeMichael. I was there for pastor's conference in 2013, and there's a pastor's conference that switches amongst three churches now. With so that one there in Idaho, Hope Baptist Church in Toledo, Ohio, and Bible Believers Baptist Church in Corpus Christi, Texas. Hopefully, I'll start hitting those pastors' conferences again. So if I go to Idaho, I'll let you know. I'd love to meet you. Okay, just getting my bearings here. And I'll jump right into it, and people who come on will just plug in. This is here. This is the book. It's by James Fowler, and it was recommended to me by Kevin Thompson, who is the host of the channel, the YouTube channel Beyond the Fundamentals, the Facebook page also. And that book, it's called Stages of Faith, and the subtitle is The Psychology. You're not going to see that here. The Psychology of Human Development and the Quest for Meaning by James W. Fowler, American psychologist. I've seen, I've been on Kevin Thompson's channel about 3 or 4 times, and brother Kevin's strength that I find with his channel is that he helps you realize the assumptions and the presuppositions that you're bringing to the text. Now, I always knew that we do that when we come to the text, but to hear somebody expound it and bring out those presuppositions so clearly as he does when he's very good. Really, I think his strength is showing how Calvinism brings presuppositions to the text. And so he'll pull out regular, like a Calvinistic proof text, quote unquote, and not so much expounding them, but just simply pointing out the lens that's being brought, the colored glasses that are being brought to the text, and seeing somebody do that as aptly as he did was really like a wow thing. And so I reached out to him. I liked the way he was teaching the Bible. I think in the last year or so, it took a kind of an odd direction. We've discussed about this personally. Him and I consider him a friend, and he's a good man. But that new direction, I'm not too comfortable with. I think it's a little esoteric and doesn't really go in line with what Paul tells us, as far as being careful about the wisdom of the world and the words of the wisdom of the world. Nevertheless, I learned a lot from Kevin with his carefulness to outlining presuppositions in the Bible. And I see him flashing this book rather regularly. Pretty regularly. It's there, and he flashes it, and he recommends it, Stages of Faith. So I asked him if he thought was a good idea to read it, and he said, "Oh, definitely." So, I want to know, and I got it, and I bought it. Stages of Faith: The Psychology of Human Development and the Quest for Meaning. And so I read the thing. Okay, I read the thing from beginning to end, and just as proof, there, I'm going to show you that I'm not just pulling this stuff off of, I don't know if you can see my notes there. I'm not, let me zoom out there for you. I'm not just like getting some kind of review from the internet. Those are my notes all over the book. I even read all the way, even the annexes I read in the charts. Okay, in the back. That's usually how I read a book. I don't leave anything unread. I begin like from the first page of the preface and the introduction, and I read the notes, and I read the annexes because I want to know. That's Eastern Idaho, near Wyoming. Wow, it must be beautiful there. So I read it, okay? And so this is my opinion of it. Now, before I give you the overview, because if I give you the overview, my overview impression, you're probably going to think, let me switch here. You're probably going to think that you may tune me out. So let me first take you through some of the stuff. And I'm just chilling here in this Thursday afternoon in my house. So I'm just going to take my time with this. You can plug in or plug out anytime you want, all right? And I know this is kind of really, really specific kind of a video, It's uber specific. I mean, how many people even know about James Fowler's book? But I'm not. I want to always be careful not to just do. I want to do things that are popular and that will get subscribers. I won't tell you I'm so spiritual that I don't care. But at the same time, I want to do some things that, even though they're not popular, that they're useful, at least to the people who have an influence online. And I suppose people like you who listen in on a channel like this would be interested by this stuff, okay? Now, there's some good stuff. Let me summarize his work for you a little bit. He is an American. I'm pretty sure he's an American psychologist. And pretty influential. And he's best known for those developing the 6 stages of faith. So he read the works of other psychologists, developmental psychologists like Piaget and Kohlberg and Erickson. So that's where he starts off. Okay, so Piaget, if you want, like briefly, was a Swiss psychologist, and he did work on cognitive development in children specifically, very structural. And he proposed that children progress through distinct stages of thinking, and that they actively construct their understanding of the world through assimilation and accommodation. And his theories emphasize the role of individual exploration, hands-on experience in learning. And it's basically cognitively how they develop. So like you have concepts of, you may have studied this in university, object permanence, right? You show the child an object and then you hide it, and then like early infants almost think that the object stops existing when it disappears from their eyesight. But one of the stages of that mental development is that the brain can retain an image of the object and understand that even though the object has disappeared, it still exists behind the chair. So it was very